Morning everyone, welcome to DOdaily. Wake up to walk. It's Des here, as ever, looking to continue my journey along the Robin Hood Way from Nottingham Castle up to the major oak and Sherwood Forest, 112 miles throughout the Nottinghamshire countryside. I'm just checking in at the start of my walk today at a place called Robin Hood Hill. It's just off the A6097, the main road that sort of runs east of Nottingham up towards Mansfield in the north. And absolutely an amazing place. I'll just do a 360. I'm stood on top of a mound, and whilst it's got reference to Robin Hood, it's not really got anything to do with him. It's actually an ancient burial ground, dates back about 3,000 years. It's got some of the most stunning views I've seen yet. You can see there, out towards the northwest of the county, towards Ravenshead, Blyth, Reneth. But as you can see, as I pan round, it's absolutely stunning. It's a spot like this that makes the walk a real highlight. Like I say, I've just started today, planning on getting a few miles in, about 6 or 7. Got a bit more time today. No work to rush off to. Lots on at the weekend. I'll touch on that a little later. I just thought it was a really interesting place. And like I say, whilst it's not got particular reference to Robin Hood, I'm basically stood on ancient relics. It was once called Robin Hood's Piss Pot, but in Victorian times they changed it to Robin Hood Hill. It is right in the heart of Sherwood Forest. If you look over there, back to where I've just shown you, the trees just about there are sort of real Sherwood Forest country. I think that's actually Blyth Woods. And if you look round a bit further, we get towards Sherwood Pines and the north of the county. So I'm gonna sort of make a few tracks, get deep into this walk. I'll check back in. I just wanted to show you that, love a view on a Friday morning. Already, just by being out for 5 or 10 minutes, it's put me in such a good mood. Oh wow, I've just stumbled across something I wasn't expecting to see. It's actually a marker, and it says the Robin Hood Way, the long distance route, was planned by members of the Nottingham Wayfarers Rambling Club. It was opened in 1985 and runs for 105 miles from Nottingham Castle to Edwinstowe Church. This, I can't read what it says, whatever it is situated approximately halfway around the route and at its highest point by the arrangements of Mrs. Anne Smith of Meadow Farm. That's really, really interesting. Wasn't expecting that. So nice little bonus en route today. And whilst it's probably not quite halfway now because it's been stretched that little bit longer still, I think when the Robin Hood route initially opened, it was 85 miles. So that's a really sort of interesting point there. Nearly 4 miles in. Really enjoying today's walk. Absolutely spectacular. Just do another turn. You see some of the stunning views. The fact it said it was one of the highest points. It's really interesting. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I was over in Blyth and I was talking about coming this way, I said that I'd be heading towards the flatlands of the East Notts countryside. Well, that's proved me wrong, hasn't it? Because it's really, really undulating. Whilst it's not particularly hilly, there's lots of rolling hills, beautiful countryside. Again, just to show you sort of over my shoulder, and this is all the way around me just now. So it's really making for a fantastic walk. I've just basically come down through Coombs Wood as well. The place where I finished last week, incidentally. This route is generally sort of straight ahead. You keep moving forward. But a small anomaly in going to Robin Hood Hill. You have to go kind of a mile south to come back on yourself and rejoin the route. But it's definitely worth a visit. That's actually one of my most favourite spots so far. And and having sort of hit that halfway point, something to really remember the first half of the walk. The only thing that could have really added to those views is a little bit of sunshine. But after the week we've had, it's been really, really hot, hasn't it? We've all been complaining about how tricky it's been, and struggling to sleep a little. We know the importance of that. We've spoke about that many times. It's quite nice actually that it's a little bit cooler with those undulating hills. I've still got a bit of a sweat on. Should have just wore a t-shirt. Should have listened to Kay. But it was a bit cooler this morning. And I kind of, looking back on the week and talking about the heat and how tricky it's been, it's kind of a perfect metaphor really. It's been a tricky week personally, and I can see around me, the people who I surround myself with and sort of the things I'm looking in afar from. It's been a bit tricky, hasn't it? There's lots of sort of good feeling about the loosening of restrictions. It's what we've all been waiting for. It's something we have to make the absolute most of. But it's brought a little apprehension as well, and I think the weather kind of sums that up. We wouldn't go without that sunshine. We wouldn't forgo it. We'd definitely take it. But it got a little bit too much, didn't it? And I think in the last few weeks, what I've been finding is, whilst I'm really, really excited about the things I've got planned, things I can do again, and I wouldn't miss them for the world, in reality, they've just been a little bit tricky to take as well, a little bit of fear because we're not used to it. I've got a big event this weekend, Thunder 124, where I'm going to be doing 10k laps of a field in Staffordshire with 19 of the Do Running guys. Takes a lot of planning and preparation. I can just sense from some of them as well that whilst they're looking forward to it, again, there's a lot to deal with, a lot to sort out. And when we're not used to it, it's almost like stepping back into the unknown. Like when we get 4 days in a row of 30 degrees, and as Brits, we tend to moan about the weather regardless. We wouldn't give it up, would we? And that's the reality. So what I'm getting to is, we have to make the absolute most of it. Really, really enjoy it. How much in the last 18 months have we complained about what we can't do? We've all had a gripe and grumble. Whilst I've tried to be positive, I'll just show you around me again. Just sort of look over there. Might not do it justice, but really deep in the countryside. Yeah, we've all had a moan and groan about what we can't do. Even if you're really, really positive, it's taking its toll at times. And it would do, things being ripped away from you the way it has. It's tough to take. We all work hard. We all sort of do what we have to do, and try and stay on top of our own sort of health and well-being and other people's health and well-being. We like to look after people. So when we can't do the things we enjoy, it's not good, is it? But what I really sort of get into is the reason I do this on a Friday, is so I can attack everything like that. Not just Thunder Run this weekend, but I'm a person who kind of feels I live for the weekend. It's where my life goes a bit crazy, all the things I enjoy, and it can be daunting at times when you've not had it for a while. But I have to get out here and do this regardless. I have to keep doing the things that I know make me feel good. Somebody said to me, doesn't it just get in the way sometimes? Or somebody actually says, what, you're doing it this week with what you're doing at the weekend? Absolutely. Because I've got to stick to that routine. It works for me. It's my way of taking time to really process everything and hit it hard. And all I'm trying to do most of the time, not just on a Friday, is sort of let people know that this is the way it works. If you take some time for yourself, when it comes to sort of dealing with others again, dealing with big situations again. Do you know, you give yourself a head start. You put yourself in a place where you're feeling good. All them things I've spoke about already, do you know, made me feel absolutely fantastic about the day. Do you know, and I'm, bit by bit, I'm stacking up those small wins. Do you know, so when I get there to this big event and I've got this daunting thought of all these laps and all these people and all this excitement, do you know, because it is daunting, we're all only human, do you know, I'll already be in a good place. If I'd not done this, I'd be regretting it for a start, but if I'd not done it, there'd be nothing to sort of build upon, would there? There'd be no enthusiasm going into it. And if it didn't quite go to plan, I'd be a little bit sort of like, do you know, if something didn't quite go right, it could quite easily get on top of me, do you know? And that's why I keep encouraging it, getting out there, do you know, enjoying your surroundings. Whether it's a bigger challenge like this, which I'm doing, logistically it's a nightmare today, but I'm finding a way, do you know? Or just getting out for a walk around the block. Do you know, you can get these kind of views not far from anywhere where anybody lives in reality. Whilst we live in big towns and cities, do you know, they're not that big, they're not endless, do you know, and what I've got today is absolutely stunning. I'm just walking towards Hallam at the moment, a village which has actually been in the news recently for some bizarre reasons. I'll let you look that up. Bit of a fracas between two surgeons, but I won't dwell on that because it's not a good story, but I thought I'd mention it as it's what's brought it to my attention. Never heard of it before. Just to the sort of side of me is a place called Eddingley, you know, another really tiny sort of hamlet in the Nottinghamshire countryside. Drove through it a couple of weeks ago, absolutely stunning. You know, every week I say Nottinghamshire villages really, really well. You know, this part of it especially. You know, very affluent and well-to-do. And as you get towards Southall, you know that you've got the Minster there. It's known for the racecourse as well. Not quite sure I'm going to actually get there now, having said everything I've said about sort of turning around and coming back. You know, nearly 4.5 all of a sudden. You know, and I'm still walking east. I'll continue my journey, continue sort of thinking about everything I've got to do in preparation for Thunder Run. You know, for as much as I like getting out on a Friday morning in the outdoors, myself and Kay, we're not particularly outdoorsy. You know, I'm getting more and more used to it, but when it comes to camping, we have to rely on some of the other guys to look after us, to sort us out, but we sort them out in many ways too. So it's a big team effort. Really looking forward to that. You know, it's going to make so much difference. Getting the chance to sit down, chat to friends. You know, 19, 20 of us in a group. You know, whilst we'll do all the things we have to do in terms of COVID and the restrictions, you know, we can still get that. We can still sit down, chat, you know, celebrate each other's successes, you know, look on in awe as guys do really inspirational things. And when you've got that fuss up in front of you, no matter how much planning it takes, no matter how much hard work or trepidation we've got going into it, it's absolutely worth it, isn't it? Do you know, this is what we've fought and worked so hard for in the last 18 months, is to get back to a point where we can do all the things we love. Do you know, I absolutely love this on a Friday morning. Wouldn't change it for the world. I'll keep encouraging you guys to get out there and do it. Do you know, just give it a try. Do you know, you'll never ever look back. Me, I only started doing it because I couldn't run. Do you know, now I try and find a way of doing both. I've got a running event to look forward to, my real passion. So why am I not going to go into that in a brilliant frame of mind, especially after everything I've done? Do you know, I'm going to have a great one. Hope whatever you're doing, hope the restrictions mean it can be something you've not done for a while and you've been really looking forward to. Hope it's absolutely brilliant. Do you know, I'll be back on Monday. I'm going to actually sort of film Thunder Run and my progress and what's happening there. Hopefully to give you an idea and to inspire you to do some of the things that you want to do. Not necessarily that, but just hopefully it transmits a bit of my enthusiasm and excitement of everything I've said today for Monday Motivation. Until then, guys, have an absolute cracker. Enjoy the rest of the weather whilst it's gonna die off just a little bit. You know, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty still to make the most of. Use it, don't lose it. Until Monday, just doing it.